In today's video, I'm going to show you how I've built an app that replaces a $50,000 per year position in an agency or a creative studio, which is absolutely insane. And I've done this only using a few AI applications, and you can do it yourself. So I'm going to show you exactly why I did it and exactly how I did it. Let's jump right in. First of all, the idea all started when I talked with a friend of mine, which is a designer, and he told me this story where a design studio took about 7 days to just get back to one of their clients with an estimation for a project. That estimation just contained how long that project would take and how much that project would actually cost. Which, if you think about it, it should not take 7 days. Of course, that client did not end up working with them because 7 days is just a lot of time to take in order to just get an estimation. And I found out that this is a pretty big pain point when it comes to estimation in the creative space for creative studios and creative agencies. And there are actually people paid to do just this. Pretty insane, if you ask me. So I came up with this idea to just build a SaaS, or more like an application that would replace this job entirely. And basically I've made this using Lovable AI and Make.com and some other apps I'm going to show you. But virtually it creates rough proposals for a few projects, of course creative projects for now. And it takes around 2.5 to 3 minutes, which is a lot less than 7 days. So let's see how I've built this and how you can build this too. This is Estimate. This is the app that I actually built in order to replace that employee. So I'm going to walk you through it a little bit, and then we're going to hop in and see how I built it and what it is built behind it. So I've built this, as I said, using Lovable AI. Here is the chat that I had with Lovable in order to create this app. So this is the app actually deployed on the web. This is the first page. This is the main page that we actually use for this app, which is the create a new project. First of all, we are going to have to create a new client, or actually select an existing client. You are doing this by just clicking new client. You enter the client's name, the company name, and the email, and then you click add new client. So what is happening behind is actually we are going to gather more data about this client using Clay. Now, when we are clicking add a new client, a webhook is triggered right here in a Clay workspace, in a Clay enrichment client table. So we are going to input the name, the company name, and its email. And based on that, we are going to then get that client's company domain. We are going to get their website. We are going to get the employee count of that company, the industry they're in, the description of the company, when they were founded. So many other, many other data points and data sets that would help us create a more accurate estimation. And of course, it could actually help you in other ways as a design studio or agency. For example, we have their VAT, so it's going to be much easier for you to create invoices and to send them invoices, and even past customers. So this is all built in Clay. If you want, I can give you a tutorial on how to build such a table, but we are not going to dive really deep right now into this. Once we are going to scrape all of this information about our client from the web, all of this data is then going to be sent again through another API back to our Estimates app into this client's dashboard. So here we are going to store all of our clients with their company name, client name, and their email. And also here we have the data that we have saved and we have scraped from the web. So we have some past customers, if there are any, the team size, actually the tech stack that the company uses, the VAT number, the client name, client email again, company name, their full address, company website, company description, year it was created, and the countries in which it operates. Okay, now with this data, you can download it as a CSV, again, if you want to use it for many other reasons. But after we actually have an existing client, we can choose one here. Let's choose L'Oreal. Here is the main focus and the main part of this whole application. It is how it actually works and how it creates that estimations. So we have two ways that we can actually create an estimation. First of all, we can manually input a project description. So you can say, my client needs a landing page, it needs a whole rebranding with this style, whatever. if you do not have any other resources and you only spoke, let's say, person to person with your client, and that's the only way you got any details about the project that he actually needs. So you can do this, or you can do another version which is way more efficient, which is to actually upload files that are going to be then analyzed, scanned, and transcribed. And based on that analysis of the files, we are going to create that estimation. So what's really cool is that we can use PDFs, PNGs, and JPEGs. Now, for instance, maybe your clients already sent you a brief of the project. You can upload it here. Or maybe you have a thread, an email thread with that client where you have talked about many details around that specific project. So you can just screenshot those emails and dump them here. You can choose up to 5 files. Of course, you can create it to upload many more files, but I said 5 files is enough because I don't want to store way too many files and then have too much data on the side and be very sluggish when it comes to the estimate. What's really cool is that you can pair these. So maybe you can upload the PDF brief here, or the JPEG, the PNGs, and also add a description, or also add some additional information that was not present in those emails or in that brief. And then you are just going to submit a request. Now, once you submit this request, we are going to create the estimations, and those estimations are going to take around 2.5 to 3 minutes to be created. How are we doing this? Well, we are going to be using make.com as our backend. First of all, when you are going to click submit a request, here we are going to be activating this first automation, which is file, text, and details are extracted and stored. Before this whole automation, all of the files from here that we have uploaded are going to be temporarily stored into a Google Drive, into a folder that we have created. Now, we have done this because I want to keep it tidy. I know how to work with Google Drive's API. I know it is safe, and I think it gives me a lot of dexterity when it comes to handling files. So basically how this works is the files are then being stored here. We are going to also store every data, the description that you have written here, and the files, we are going to store them into a database in make.com, because it's then going to be easier to transfer that data from one automation to another one and keep it really tidy again. And we are going to call some Google Drive APIs. Now, these APIs are just going to download the files that we have stored here in the Google Drive into our make.com automation. After that, we are going to have these 3 routes. Now, the first route is if that specific file is a PNG or JPEG. We are going to download it from our Google Drive. We are going to extract the text from our images. We are going to then delete the file from the folder. We're going to be doing this because, let's say you are never going to delete the files, the folder is going to grow bigger and bigger and it's going to be just sluggish. We're going to keep everything tidy, so we are going to delete that specific file and we are going to update a record here in our data store. We have basically almost the same thing here when it comes to PDFs, but instead of ChatGPT, instead of OpenAI to extract the data from the PDF and analyze the images, we are going to use I Love PDF to actually compress the PDF first, because we are using another API here from Cloud Immersive to actually extract text. So that PDF needs to be lower than 10 megabytes. And usually if you have a big client brief, it's a bit more than 10 megabytes. So we're going to compress it to only 2 to 3 megabytes and we are going to extract the data again. We're going to delete the file in the folder and we are going to store that data that we have extracted. And after all of the files that we have provided him are going to be analyzed and the data is going to be extracted. And of course, all of the descriptions that we have added here, if any, have been extracted and saved into our data store, we are then going to go to this module, which is going to activate the second flow. Now, the second flow is going to be this one, which is creating the actual estimations. Now, what happens here? This webhook is going to be activated and we are going to get all of the records that we have stored into our make.com database. So we have stored all of the data from our files and the description And now we want to get all of the information back, and we are going to input it into multiple OpenAI modules to analyze them and actually create the estimations. The first one is going to be a time estimation module. Here I have used a ChatGPT assistant that I've built. I have created another PDF where I gave him specific instruction. It's a pretty lengthy PDF that I gave the OpenAI assistant in order to train him to actually create a really accurate time estimation. And along with that, we have a prompt here. Okay, we have the same thing for the price estimation, again with another OpenAI assistant that is trained for price estimations. It is really cool because you can create assistants based on your studio or agency. So for instance, you can upload to your OpenAI assistant a list with all of your employees, all of their hourly rates, how skilled they are, how long it will usually take them to do some tasks or not. So you can customize it a lot to your studio, and the more you customize it, the more accurate the response and the estimates are going to be. After we have created the time estimation and price estimation, here we are going to get some pretty good results. Let me actually show you some results that we have gotten from these modules. You can see here the price estimation. This is going to be the result. So you can see here that it is thinking based on the PDF that I gave him. So it has some certain steps that he has to take in order to create that estimation. We have branding, we have website redesign, we have marketing collateral. This is again a random project. It tells you how long it would take, how much money it would actually take to create this. So $37.50 an hour. This is based on a list of employees that I gave him. I trained everything on a studio of one of my friends, so I can have a really cool example, right? It actually gives him a 40% discount because it was his first client and he saw potential to have many more projects with him, so he decided to give him a 40% discount, which is really cool in my opinion. And this is the final price estimation that he came up with. And here he is going to give you some of his reasoning, price per deliverable, and many other details. And for the time estimation, this is going to be the result. It has thought about the deliverables, the key themes and analysis, time estimations. So you can see that logo redesign around 40 hours, typography 20 hours, so on and so forth for each task, which is pretty cool. And then we have a base total. And then we have some adjustments based on the risk buffer. So we have a 15% risk because it's a medium complexity with multiple deliverable service. And adjusted total is going to be around 518.65 hours. So cool if you ask me. And of course you have some intervals because you cannot be 100% accurate every time. And it's safer if you have some ranges that you can work with. Okay, these are just some examples from some results that we have got in the past. After these two modules, the time estimation and the price estimation, we are going to be creating the proposal presentation to send to our clients. For this one, I have used a create a completion module. So I'm not using any assistant. It's just a lengthy prompt that I have come up with. You can slow down the video, you can pause it, and you can just copy it right here. After that, we are going to send this proposal via an HTTP module to our database in Estimates. By the way, for database, I'm going to be using Supabase. I forgot to actually show you here in Supabase. I have created a database for my estimates in order to store all of the details about my clients and all of the estimations that I have created. Okay, and basically this concludes the estimation. Part of our app. So you should get here something like this, waiting approval for your client. You have the time, the price. You do not have a PDF yet. For you to create a PDF, you should come here to view estimations, where you have again a lot of information about how the AI thought to create that price and time estimation, like the discount use, steps for the studio to take after the client has been signed, task duration, so on and so forth. And you are going to click send proposal. I'm going to do a demo from start to finish, and you're going to see exactly how all the workflow is going to work. For now, we are not going to click send proposal, but the end result should be something like this. It should be updated to send, and here you can view the proposal and you can actually download it. This is going to be a rough project quote where we have all of the deliverables, the descriptions, who we prepared it for, so our client, with duration and price for each of these deliverable. And we have again an estimated time frame. It starts basically the day after we have created this proposal and it ends when it needs to end. And this is the estimated total. We have here some additional details like 50% is upfront, 50% on delivery. All this in around 3 minutes instead of 7 days, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Now, this is a rough project quote because you as a studio, of course, should not always take the AI result 100% as accurate, so you can review it and you can then discuss with your client if everything is cool and come up yourself with a final project quote. So yeah, this is basically what the app does. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and very efficient. Now, let me show you a demo and show you how it actually works. Okay, now for the example, first of all, I wanted to show you a table. Basically, it's the team database of, this is of course a fictional database of employees or freelancers that my studio hypothetically works with. So here we have their names, their service that they provide. So if they are UI UX designers, video, digital art, front and back end developers, so on and so forth. We have their level of proficiency. So if they are low on proficiency or high, we then have their payment type, if we pay them on a daily basis or if we pay them on a monthly retainer or whatever, and then their payment rate. Now, I'm going to choose 3 people to actually work on this project just so that we can test estimates more. So let's say, for example, we are going to use Amelia, Pietro, and Umberto. So we are going to, first of all, select an existing client. We are going to choose L'Oreal, for example, and we are going to instruct our app to use, try to use for this project only Pietro, Amelia, and Umberto. Right? It was Umberto as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, front-end developer. Okay. And now that we have specified this, is going to be a bit more complicated for estimates. I just want to test it out. We are going to also select some files. So I chose 2 screenshots of an email thread where hypothetically a client of mine has asked me to do some services for him. These are these screenshots, right? Okay, now all we got to do is just click submit request. Now we are going to submit the request. It is going to tell us after that it takes approximately 2 minutes for the proposal to be sent to our inbox. We are going to go to the home page. We are going to actually go to estimates here. And let's see in the background what is going on. You can see that this automation, the first one, it's already running. These 2 files have been read. And then we have activated the second flow. We are going to go to the second flow, which is basically going to create the estimate, which is this one, creating the estimations. This one should be running right now. So we should see it activated in a few seconds. Yeah, so it is running. You can see that it has completed the time estimation for this project. We have these sleep modules because we do not want to stress too much OpenAI. So if we put 2 message and system modules one next to another and they do some pretty hefty big task, is then maybe a possibility of it giving us an error. So we are going to put a sleep of 10 seconds between each other so that we know that there are not going to be any errors. Of course, this is going to add to the final time, which, as I said, is going to be around 2.5-3 minutes to actually make these estimations. In the meantime, we can see the result for the time estimations. We see here that we have our client's name, our company name, and some key assumptions made. You can see that somewhere around here we should have only Amelia, Pietro, and Umberto. We should see it, I think, in the price estimation here. If you go to result, yeah, Pietro, Amelia, and Umberto, which is really cool. We can actually specify our AI to just use whatever freelancers or employees we have available. Okay, and then we can see that it has sent all of that data back to estimate. So we should see it here. Yeah, here. Time is going to be 54 hours and the price is going to be 2,391 euros. And we have this status at waiting approval. Now we can view the estimation here. We can see the tech stack that we actually need in order to complete the project. We have the client info, we have the project objective, develop a portfolio website for L'Oreal, a health supplements company with features including a gallery page, CMS, contact page, and accessibility enhancements. We then have some steps for the studio. So confirm project requirements, assign tasks to team members, and set up project timeline and milestone. And then we have the intended deliverables, so the CMS setup and configuration, the gallery page development, contact page development, accessibility enhancements. So you can see with all of these data, we are going to more easily even create tasks and assign tasks to our employees or freelancers. And then we have some estimates on each task on how long it would take. Okay, we can edit the estimation here. We can edit the time or the price. Let's edit time to 52 hours, for example. And then we are going to save changes. We are going to go again here at view estimation, and we are going to click send proposal. Now this should then trigger another automation, which is this one, send PDF proposal to our dashboard. We should see it running here. It runs. It has created a proposal. It has already sent the proposal to L'Oreal. And we have the estimation sent back to estimates, which is here. We should see it right here. Perfect, the project quote with each duration and price for each deliverables, which is really cool in my opinion. So this is the app that I've built in order to replace a $50,000 per year job. Pretty cool. Again, you can do this by yourself. I do not have any coding experience in the past or very advanced knowledge. I have used Lovable, Make.com, some Google Drive APIs. I have used Clay for enriching the client's data and Supabase as a database. So you can use this mostly for free or at a very, very low cost, and it can bring you a ton of value. If you're interested in my team services, my agency is called Tinker. You can actually leave a comment down below and we can then exchange contacts, or you can directly email me. I hope this video helped you. I hope you have a different perspective as to what you can actually create for your studio or for your agency, or even to actually sell to other studios, agencies, or companies, right? And I hope I'll see you soon on the next video.